So I see Samantha and Sue in here.
Terrific.
I don't see the, so if you guys want to check, oh, there's Sue.
Hi.
Okay, I hear Sue. No, but Samantha, we can't hear you. Yep, I hear you.
Now I'm getting on this. And I'm also getting an echo again now. Sue, I'm going to mute you for a minute.
It could be. Oh. Is that?
Yeah, and now it has cleaned up for me, yeah.
Okay. So Samantha, no, we can't hear you. And if you guys look at the top, you should be able to see like a little movie icon. And oops. And if you push it, that was what will happen. You'll go off and on.
And you can, both Sue and Samantha, you can also turn on your webcams. Right now, I've got a different screen from the one I had before, but there's a little video icon at the top of the screen. It's either in the middle of the screen or over on the left of the screen. And if you click on that, here comes somebody. Hi, so now we've got Sue on.
Samantha,
Thank you for joining us. Sue and Samantha are part of actually, Samantha started our Wellness Universe Mastermind, Catherine.
What is the Wellness Universe Mastermind?
Samantha started it. There are 4 of us on it right now. I'm sure you'd be welcome to join if you have some time.
What is the Wellness Universe Mastermind?
Have you ever been in a mastermind?
Oh, yes. Oh, there we go. We can see you now, Samantha.
Okay, terrific.
So no, I have not. I'll have to look into it. We can see you.
But I can't hear you, Samantha.
Yeah.
Although it looks as if your microphone's
on.
Unmuted. Let me try. I'm going to try muting you, Samantha, and then unmuting you. See if that makes any difference. Can you say something, Samantha? I can't hear you. There is a chat box.
Maybe, or if you have a
Oh, I see you're using it, yeah.
Let's see if that works.
Yeah, try a headset.
Mm. Do you see a little phone icon?
My screen is showing Samantha as being on microphone, except she just went off.
Right, now push it again and see if we can do that again.
We cannot hear you, and your microphone is not showing on my screen, which means it's turned off. So you need to go, to the top and click on the little microphone. It'll either be top left or top center. Your microphone is still not on, Samantha.
Still no. Oh, you can't.
Oh, really?
Huh.
why don't you try going out and coming in again, and you're going to have to enable your mic. Oh, you can't hear me. Wait a minute. Just figure this out. Sorry.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I'm trying to type, and I forgot that I have to change my num lock when I move my computer around, as I just did. It's not the red. It's not a red. It's not a red phone, is it?
Mine's red.
Oh, yeah, it is. Okay.
All right, so make sure you say there. I think there's a thing that says the audio. Was there a thing when you guys came in that said like enable audio?
Yes, it's allow audio. It says, but Samantha can't hear us. Okay, so she went out.
Maybe increase the volume on. Well, she wouldn't be able to hear us, right?
Yeah, my volume is just fine where it is, and I know if I turn it up too high, although it's at 100 right now, but sometimes if I turn it up too high, I get blasted out.
Right.
Okay, so Samantha is on again.
You can hear us, but we can't hear you. I wonder what's going on.
I don't know.
Well,
Because Samantha,
what would you like to do, Samantha? Do you want to type and we'll read it, or do you want to reach out to see if we? What would you like to do?
she said, sure, so, okay. Let's try that. Shall we?
Okay.
Shall we get started here?
And then we're gonna mute or unmute Sue.
Well,
Gotcha.
yeah, all right. I'll let you do the talking then, because I get an echo when I unmute Sue.
Oh, do you get an echo on your end?
Yes.
I think we're good, Janet. You want to try? Well, so welcome to the Expanding Consciousness Collective, you guys. We're going to start off with opening our ceremony, and then probably at about 2:45, we're going to do a reflection, and then I have to scoot out a little bit earlier, but Janet's going to stay online until all the way until 3, and we're going to do some just open discussion and typing on some concepts today. So Janet, I'm going to let you go ahead, and I'm going to mute myself.
And I'm going to let each one of you choose your own layout. If you look in the lower right-hand corner of your screen, you'll see there, right now, I'm in a default layout, but you can, the webcam meeting is a really good layout to choose, because then you can see people on the screen much larger. Plus, you can also see what I'm going to be doing here. So you can play with that and decide which view you like best. So, let me get another. Whoops, need to go back here, sorry. I find it really helpful to frame our conversation within Ken Wilber's integral vision and his 4-quadrant diagram, which you may or may not be familiar with. But it is basically this. The left quadrants are subjective or interior quadrants. The top one is individual, I, and the bottom one is the collective, we. The right quadrants are objective or exterior quadrants. I like to think of these as perspectives from which you're looking at the world, or also where your mind is focused sometimes. So the right quadrants are objective quadrants. The top one is individual and the bottom one is collective. So the top ones are all these individual quadrants and the bottoms are collective. The upper left would be focuses such as the interior subjective individual. What do I think? What do I feel? What do I need? What are my choices? Looking at one's own mind and one's own emotions and one's own bodily reactions, that kind of thing. Lower left is looking at a community, a we quadrant. You know, what does that look like? For me, it's a very dynamic, interactive, alive interaction among unique individuals. When you get over into the right quadrants, say the upper right quadrant, you might be looking at something like a tree, a cow, your brain. It would be a much more a focus of looking out there at what our minds shape as objects. And the lower right quadrant would be a lot of systems, for example, and how they interact with one another, or maybe it would be a herd of cows or a nation of people, but it would be more than one. It would be but it would still be seeing them as being out there and separate from me. It would be an objective perspective. So using that just as a framework for thinking and a framework for our discussion here today. The first question I'd like to throw out would fit within the interior subjective individual quadrant. So I would be asking you to answer in terms of your own personal perspective. So the question, what is mine to do? Now, this is phrased extremely broadly, and I'm going to put a text box up here if I can figure this out so that I can type in answers as they're shared here. But what is mine to do? This would have to do with either your personal purpose on the planet. some of your skills, perhaps, something that really matters to you personally. So what is yours to do as an individual? What is your job on this planet, your action, your contribution, your gift?
So, Janet, you're talking about what do we bring into this world? What is our temperament, our talents? What are we bringing into this world? What is ours to do?
Yeah, that's another way of phrasing it.
Oh, yeah, that's a psychodynamic way.
Okay, I'm happy to alternate phrasings of this.
Yeah, I should say that's my speak.
Well, I can start this out. Which would be educate those who want to learn about what we humans do with words.
Oh, and Stu, if you want to speak, you're more than welcome to speak.
Yeah,
So,
I'm really looking for input here.
yeah, I see that you went ahead and put some stuff, which is nice. Maybe we all should type, since Samantha can't talk.
I think I'm the only one who can type here. So you're going to have to speak, and then I can type what you
Well,
speak.
Sue wrote, "Be the best person I can be."
Okay.
Be the best person I can be.
Oh, but that's in the chat. Okay. So,
Yeah.
but I'm asking you now to speak out loud so I can hear it.
Right. So Samantha's is to understand myself fully, because she can't see.
Okay, don't go too fast.
Okay. Understand myself fully so that I can understand others.
Have fun.
That's nice.
That's a nice one. What is yours to do?
Live authentically.
Live authentically. What does that mean?
To be the person that you came in to be you.
Okay.
How else to say it?
To be me. Okay.
Is being the person that you came into this world as is. It means with your temperaments, we all come into the world with these temperaments. And so being able to have those temperaments and being authentic in those temperaments, not denying parts of ourselves.
So along those lines, finding ways to be loving with myself and others.
Mm-hmm.
Samantha wrote self-acceptance.
Yeah, good, thanks. Knowing.
And we've got Kurt Klingbeil has joined us as well.
Good.
I'm sorry, what? Okay, being accepting and non-judgmental.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Kurt.
So Kurt, if you want to join us on screen, there's a little, should be an audio button, and then there should be also a video button. We'd love to be able to see you.
Yeah, I think Kurt's in on just listening mode right now. What I'm saying is a set of headphones.
Okay.
Which
Maybe.
is fine. I left the chat there.
Excuse me for a second.
What else is yours to do? And you do realize, I mean, we're focusing this right now in a very broad context. but we could narrow it down very specifically to focus on things that we would like to see different in the world. For example, if we were to focus on climate change and ask the same question, what is mine to do? This is assuming that you believe climate change is real and an issue that we need to be concerned about. Or we could focus on things like war, human violence, things like that. What is mine to do, assuming that I want to bring about change in these areas? Can you see how where we focus changes the kind of answers that come up here, I think. And why don't we just play with this for a minute? We don't have, I'm just checking the time. But let's play with climate change, for example. What is mine to do?
Be as mindful as possible. Not take a 2,000-mile car trip. Okay, in the middle of.
Let's see. Be as mindful as possible. Not take a 2,000-mile car trip.
Yeah, but there's a grandbaby involved, so I had to come.
Okay, if we this is where it gets really complex when you start weighing the pros and cons of these actions. Yeah, it becomes a lot harder to answer these questions. But yeah, let's just stay on the climate change maybe for a couple more minutes. Assuming you believe the climate change is real and that it is a real problem for the survival of the human species, what is yours to do individually? I can think of one here. Would be, and I'm going to run these together because I'm running short of space. Reuse shopping bags.
Or bring your own bags, like we
Yeah,
do in Chicago.
yeah.
Buy a electric car, or take the subway. There's a lot of people in the city in Chicago who don't even have cars. Our oldest didn't even learn how to drive till he was 21.
Okay, or take the bus, depending on what city you're in.
Right, or public transportation.
Yeah, okay, that's good. That's better.
Take my reusable cup to Starbucks.
Yeah. Compost. Recycle. Buy organic materials. And we got another issue though.
What's the other issue?
Well, what kind of organic material you're using. Or we could actually buy recycled clothing.
Yeah, and I'm running out of space here, and we're also moving along on time. But just notice the difference in the answers, depending on where we focus that one question. Because the first set of answers, when we kept the question very general, the first set of answers were fairly general as well, but they did have to do with personal beingness. It would be one way I could express it. And as soon as we focus on what is mine to do with respect to climate change, we're getting a whole different set of answers there. And we could focus on things like war, for example. What is mine to do? Or if you want to rephrase that, a nonviolent planet, what is mine to do?
Teach my webinar.
All right, there you go. Okay, so since Catherine does have to leave early, why don't we move on to the next quadrant in the Ken Wilber diagram. And here we're functioning or seeing or being within this lower left quadrant. At least that's the way I see it. We're in the we quadrant. What the interior subjective collective. So the question here is, what is ours to do together? And why don't we, let's take it as a general focus first. And then we can move it into, perhaps just keep it again on climate change. All right, what is ours to do together?
Create healthy communities.
Find ways to understand each other better.
Connect, empower, encourage, contribute.
How about co-create? How about listen? Listen deeply. Work.
Allow.
Allow. Okay, go ahead.
What do you mean by allow?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Allow what? Rape?
And accept. No. So in my line of work, a lot of people don't accept. So in parenting, a lot of people don't accept their kids as they are. They don't accept their family as they are. They don't allow them to be. They try to make them be something else. So allow and accept people as they are, to be what they are. Because I think, well, theoretically, I think people are good. And I think the ills come out of other things. We don't create and there aren't born rapists.
Oh, nuts. I'm sorry.
Ooh, way to go. There it is.
I just clicked on the wrong thing. I'm trying to get back up to the beginning here and I can't figure out how to do it. Oh, come on, don't do that. All right, I'm not going to try to correct my mistakes. You're going to have to figure out what it's supposed to be. So what else is ours to do together? What about, and this is kind of a generalization, but what about do no harm?
And Samantha said stay positive, keeps positive.
Okay, keep positive. Thanks for helping with the chat there, Sue.
Good.
There's a lot to focus on here.
Okay.
There's a lot for us to do get together.
All right. What specifically? Let's see if we can get some specifics in here.
About what?
Well, we could switch the focus to climate change if you'd like. It might be easier to answer that.
Well, but I also think it's a good idea to be able to see the two, see how it changes and shifts when we focus.
All right.
It's
So does anybody have anything else they want to add to just the general question? What is ours to do together? And I'm thinking a lot of the question is very general, but the answers are very general too. And I look, for example, at create healthy communities. What would a healthy community look like?
connection, empowerment, encouragement, contributing.
Okay, all the stuff that you've already got in there. How about
We have in there.
self-respect and other respect? How about that? Or just maybe just respect, mutual respect. How about that?
Yes.
Anybody else have anything else they want to add here? And we've got about 5.
Example.
Go ahead. Lead by example.
Lead by example.
I think that's a great one. In other words, model would be the same thing. Model rather than tell. Okay. Anybody have anything else they want to add here? So all right, let's move on then. And focus the question specifically on climate change. So what is ours to do together here?
Educate.
Okay.
Encourage.
Encourage. What about something real practical, such as clean energy is what's coming to mind, but I'm thinking of all the windmill farms that you see, for example. I'm just going to put clean energy in here, I think, for now.
Purchasing those 50-year bulbs. Or whatever those bulbs are that last forever.
I think they're lead bulbs, aren't they?
Yeah.
50. I like your words.
I don't know. My husband's bought them all for the house, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly, yeah, more public transportation would certainly help. That would be something that we would have to do together or through the government.
And support innovation even if it doesn't make a profit right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stop marketing for profit. Start marketing for the environment.
Okay, hold on just a minute. Support innovation even if it doesn't make a profit. And then what was the next one? Stop marketing for profit?
And start marketing. So like a toothbrush. You have to stop.
Well, so it's sort of, I think what you're saying too, the other side of that is stop being sucked into marketing for profit.
Ooh, I like that one.
We can link arms and just not give into that. That'd be something.
For
educate our younger kids though too. Boy, do they really do well on sucking in those little kids all over the place.
Yeah, and so there's almost a certain it is education, I think, but the word that's coming to my mind right now is protection. That we need to protect certainly our children and maybe ourselves as well from getting sucked into corrupt offerings. And I don't know how much this has to do with climate change.
Find the facts, right? So, for example, we have a soda pop tax or a Coke or.
No, wait, say that. What was that again?
Find the facts.
Find the facts.
Yeah, find the fact. Get the facts first from reputable places. Although, how can you tell what's reputable? The reason why I said in Chicago we had this again soda pop tax that just came out. Soda pop. I don't know what you want to call it. Coke. Everybody calls it something else. And immediately, the soda companies put out marketing with people being mad, saying, don't, don't, like, it's against my freedom for you to tax this and whatever. And then the other side came out with one saying, like grandmothers and grandparents saying, my grandkids are going to be obese and sick and have diabetes. And, and so it's really an interesting is who's going to have enough money to outlast each other. It's what's going to happen. Who has enough money to make the most marketing? And that's who's going to win out. It will. That's what will happen.
You see, this is hard stuff here.
Yeah.
At least from my perspective, this is hard stuff because each one of us has a different intention or focus that we're bringing into the collective, and they are not always aligned.
Yeah.
In fact, they're almost never aligned.
I think that's often true. So how do we deal with this?
Yeah.
How can we do, is there any way at all of aligning all these different energies?
Yes.
Okay, how?
Well, in my experience, what works is to give enough time and space and support and acceptance for each varied viewpoint to drill down to what the needs are underlying the viewpoint. And once you get there, we all basically have the same needs, and the conversation takes an entirely different turn. So, and that's what I teach. I know I had 6 children in a 7-seat car. And I had to get them from the park to my house. One baby had to be in the car seat. And it was just so fascinating to watch the process because everybody had their own needs and they weren't really aware of their needs at the time. They just knew like the girls didn't want to sit next to the boys and nobody wanted to sit next to the baby. And so as we just sat with it and said, well, we all have to get in this car and everybody has to have a seatbelt. And we went through suggestions like, well, why don't we tie the baby to the roof? And then nobody will have to sit next to him. And I was like, okay, well, that we really can't do. Maybe there's something else. And someone said, well, if you cleaned the baby up and he wasn't so sticky and muddy, then maybe one of us would sit next to him. So we can do that. We can clean the baby up. And everybody wanted the front seat. But then they decided that the oldest kid really should get the front seat and that the younger kid should clean it. And it was creepy. And it took 20 minutes to prepare for this 5-minute ride, but it was beautiful because it was exactly the process that we need to go through on climate change, on war, on politics, and nobody's doing it, really. Maybe some people are doing it, but that to me is where it's at.
We call that collaborative problem solving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But even then, I think that no one's doing that, but also I think people think that they are sticking to certain, I think there's a lot that goes into that.
Well, there is, and it takes a lot of skill to support somebody in drilling down to the need that's underlying the solution that they've decided is the solution, right? Because we all stick to the thing that we think is going to work, right? And so it takes some skill.
Well, I think that we have all these alternative facts going on right now. And so people truly believe completely different things. So when we drill down to the bottom, someone says, it's about freedom. The other one says, it's about health. And so we're not talking about the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I think it becomes, right, I think that it becomes difficult. How do we talk about the same thing?
Well, and that's you can only have that conversation once you've drilled down to recognizing that one person's talking about freedom and the other person's talking about health. You can't have that conversation until you get to that level. And then you have to deal with all the emotional and all the, reactive stuff that comes up to guide one or the other to have the conversation that they're not intending to have right now, right? So the one who's concerned about health, you need to guide them to talk about freedom, and the one who's concerned about freedom, you have to guide them to talk about health. And so it takes a lot of skill and it takes a lot of practice, but it absolutely can be done. Absolutely, in any circumstances. I firmly believe that.
And I'm just looking at our time here, Catherine.
Yeah.
You need to get off in like about a minute, I think.
How about, Janet, you guys just keep going, because you're more quadrants. So
we got some momentum going here,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
Yeah, so I'm gonna set off, and then you can do, okay?
Okay,
It's nice to meet you, Catherine.
Nice to meet you too. Bye, guys. Keep going. I'll come.
thank you.
Later on. Sorry I couldn't stay the whole time.
Yeah, thanks so much, Catherine.
Bye.
Bye. And Janet, I have to drop off right on the hour too, because I've got another appointment I have to get to.
Okay. Let's see. Samantha says agreed. I'm not quite sure what you're agreeing to.
All of it.
Actually, I really like what you just said, Sue, because for me, that's the solution as well. It's just drilling down to the underlying needs, which are camouflaged with all this verbiage that gets heaved back and forth, which is nothing but garbage, a lot of it. Calling each other names and blaming each other. It puts us into this whole dysfunctional power dynamic in this interior subjective collective we quadrant. And I think I think you're absolutely right that the way we bring it together is through deep digging down conversation. It's a co-creative process where everyone together is looking for a solution or a way to resolve the expressed problem or issue, and ultimately there's agreement if you take the time. But it seems to me in this fast-paced world that we have these days, it's really hard to, there's so much flying at all of us. And to give that time that it takes in each tiny little area to really dig down to the underlying needs is challenging, I think, in our current world.
Well, we haven't done it. No one's taught that, right? So, I mean, it's just not part of our public discourse yet.
It's going to be though, right? And this is, you see, here's something we can do together. And I will tell you, one of my intentions in working very hard to put together this expanding consciousness collective and keep it going on a monthly or every 4-week basis is that very reason, to provide a space for this kind of deep conversation, which could be focused any place we choose to focus together. It doesn't have to be on anything that I necessarily put out there. It could be on a burning issue that someone else may have. We got lots of them out there to work with, that's for sure. So what I hear you saying, Sue, is that first of all, it seems to me there's a shift in focus. And maybe this is an internal shift in that upper left quadrant for each person, from looking or seeing the problems out there in the objective space and looking internally at one's own needs for a certain degree of self-care, maybe. First, at least this is my perspective, you need to take care of yourself. And once you learn how to take care of yourself, then you have an abundance to give to others. And you can't really give to others until you have taken care of yourself first. Just my own sense of things. But yeah, one of the things I'm trying to do here anyway is keep the conversation going in whatever direction the people who are involved in this webinar want it to go.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be very specific to an immediate problem that's coming up for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Climate change. I mean, we've kind of moved away from that focus here. But I don't know. I don't know. What is ours to do together? Anybody have anything else they want to add? And Samantha says, let's see. She agreed with what you said, Sue. And Samantha also has to go at 4. We're at 3:55 right now. And keyword is if. And I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, Samantha. What, if we can allow enough time and space, if we can care for ourselves? It seems to me caring for ourselves, it's an important shift of focus, but maybe it's something that would be acceptable to everyone.
We have to frame it so that it's not heard as encouraging people to be self-absorbed or selfish. So you have to just be careful with some people how you frame talking about caring for yourself or loving yourself, because there's a whole lot of people out there who reject that idea, think it's wrong.
And I get that, and I think that perception shifts depending on who you're talking with, which
Yes.
is a huge challenge.
Yeah.
So you might actually frame your statement one way with one person and frame it totally differently with another.
Yeah. It's all in the marketing.
Just dump the marketing, is that what you're saying?
I said it's all in the marketing. You know, you have to know who your audience is and how to phrase whatever it is that you want to say. You have to know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we now have 3 minutes, and the other 2 of you, except for Kurt, need to leave in 3 minutes. Normally, we have someone reflect back, but I'm just not skilled enough right now to handle 10 roles at once, which is what I've kind of been trying to do here. And Catherine was going to do this, but we were on a roll there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think, well, Samantha can't do it. And so I'll ask Sue. I mean, do you want to try to just summarize? Let me see if I can go back to some of the...
Just summarize?
Just reflect back. And I hope this is still up here. Oh, it is. actually, so we can actually move between these two screens in 2 minutes. So we're talking, let me try it actually, since I have the screens up. So I think, yeah, education, understanding, authenticity, being loving with self and others, self-acceptance. I'm going to leave the climate change out of it for right now, simply because Michael Wolf will be joining us next month, and I know that's a focus he'd like to go into in more depth. But yeah, creating healthy communities, connecting, empowering, encouraging, contributing, co-creating, listening deeply, allowing and accepting people, stay positive, mutual respect, lead by example, model rather than tell, collaborative problem solving, enough time, space, support, and acceptance to drill down to real needs. And then know your audience and how to phrase what you want to say, which is challenging. Just a quick note, real fast. We'll be meeting again on October 26th, this time at 11 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, and I'll let you translate that into your own time zone. We're changing the time because I hope Michael Wolf can be with us. He lives in Scotland. He's got some bandwidth issues, and we're changing the time primarily to accommodate him, but I think it will also accommodate even Australia and New Zealand. So we'll be able to accommodate a good part of the world with that time. So thank you all very much for joining and contributing your thoughts here. Yeah, great discussion. So thank you.
Thank you for inviting us, Janet. It's good to see you.
Yeah, good
Nice to see you too, Samantha.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.